Thank you for coming on into the live and sharing your essence with me in this eternal moment of which we all share an inextricable and inexorable part. Thank you for doing your part, for coming on in each and every day. We'll do the same without wasting a single second of your time. Bada bing, bada boom, we go into the charts. So it got a little bit of an upside to only come back down as False Move Monday does do, and essentially going sideways within this range bound structure beneath the point of control of this region. If you want to see what I mean by that, we can just take this fixed range volume profile and see that we are beneath this point of control, which also coincides with here. So I don't know why my volume seems to be low today. Hopefully the volume's appearing nicely for you. It's not in my ears as loud as before. Alright, so let's go into high block. What is high block capital? Well, people lock their liquidity into the charts to get burnt to a crisp by the market maker for not using a stop loss, and we get to see where those crispy characters are. So let's do that now. Shout out to everyone here. What's up, Dingo? Alright, hopefully the volume's alright. Let me move this up a little bit. Okay, so we pinged in some longs to the shorts to the tune of $96 million pools here on that drop pre-market after the we were down a pool obviously because of lack of banking from New York due to Labor Day. So this doing the NASDAQ, London did bring a little bit of fire for the London closed session, so it was kind of interesting despite being down a pool. So yeah, the imbalance still lies to the upside in the tune of 8.8 billion on this 1 minute time frame. Let's go ahead and expand our vision to the higher time frame pools. The higher time frame pools percolating on both sides, largest being up above in the to the tune of basically a $10 billion pool up at 28k on the 7-day time frame. Pools percolating on both sides though. If we look at the nearest one, we have some $6 billion pool down at 25k. Let's go ahead and expand our vision to the 1 month. 1 month time frame does have this. We got this surge up to give it all back, and now we are essentially possibly coming to this 60 billion down at 25k. There's a $60 billion pool at 25k, and even lower than that you have some 20 billion, 20, 40, 60, 60 billion down at 23.6 if we are going lower. So the imbalance is to the downside here on the monthly. If we go to the 3 and the 6 month, you'll see that even clearer. At the sub 24 region, you got $50 billion pools all the way leading to 23.4. 6 month also causes that to rise to the tune of $181 billion down at 24.3. So the imbalance is still to the downside. If we look at the 2 year, that entire region is $240 billion down at 23.6, and then the 600 billion up at the 33.2 region. So do we come down, create some FUD, get everyone saying lower lows, and then rip out as we did back in March? Could be the case. Here for it either way. Let's go ahead and go back to the monthly and look into the charts. Wait a minute. Okay, so let's go ahead and turn on the momentum. Okay, link is in the description for more. Of course, scroll down to features, toggle the toggle switch of each at your leisure, or read about each component as it comes into prominence. So we're seeing this cloud shift on the 12-hour now in terms of getting thin without getting above it. Do we bearishly retest and drop below? That is the question. We did not get this surge up, but this could be something in the cards. We'll go into what we were talking about for as to why we drew these lines here the other day. Daily candle closes in 23 minutes, or sorry, 43 minutes. No, 33. My mind. No, 43. I'm right. 43 minutes. Brain's too early in the morning, not working exactly up to par. So we had we're at this bearish trend-based fib level at the 1382 at 25,829 that we are potentially trying to hold. If not, we are coming down to the 25K region for that pool we just outlined, that imbalance down below. On the daily time frame, the KD lines of the stochastic are attempting to make a bounce at the 50 level here. If not, they can come down and reset. There is no volume because we've been essentially on a 3-day weekend for New York. The oversold region of the Williams and the money flow and the RSI beneath 50 does suggest that something on the daily could be brewing. If we look at this cloud that we curved up here as well, it's starting to taper back down again, so this is not exactly to my liking just yet, so I'm going to remove it. But the angle is interesting to note. This angle does capture some potential shift inbound if it does hold. Similar to here, this angle started to insinuate that turn to the downside. So if you get that opposite effect and you get a bullish retest of that, then you could break through. All right, so looking at the 22-hour time frame, 22-hour is the broken time frame. Why did we find the 22 to be interesting? Well, there's a candle for 22 hours and a candle in 2 hours, so it's a unsyncopated rhythm similar to jazz or something like that, where it's like, you know, 18/4 or something like that. So it's this weird beat that captures the intention in a manner that they didn't mean to express it. So sometimes it expresses meaning in a way that shows divergence before it's known. So getting oversold on the Williams and this KD line coming down lower, getting winding up for a potential upside move on the 22-hour perhaps. Also getting the cloud to shift in advance while we're not above it though. Need to reclaim it, similar to what we talked about yesterday, if there is going to be a bullish narrative. Otherwise, it is going to just be a bearish retest to the downside. I still think that coming up into this candle at least slightly and creating a shoulder head and a shoulder would be par for the course before going lower, and they're just likely inducing some shorts as they did here with the $96 million pool. So they're creating a wind up and a pitch to the upside by getting the bottom feeding shorts to enter in prematurely, which is why I would not short just yet. The New York 12-hour time frame. 12-hour time frame has a cross down event. However, we could be in the next 38 minutes starting to reclaim this level. We'll see how it goes. We are currently beneath the fat boy baseline and the thin boy, so we'll see how that holds. What is the baseline? It's a leading formula for moving average. It's one of the few you'll find on the market. First sign of reversal. All right, but basically we negated that cross down event. The thinning cloud is the one narrative that's interesting, that an expansion is coming one direction or the other. So that's when you get these thinning clouds. It shows the consolidation is in and it's time to make a move. So if we go to the previous bullish divergence that's starting to play out here on the 12-hour, is this bullish divergence going to trigger a stop loss hunt and then rip it? Let's find out on the 6-hour time frame. 6-hour time frame did get, in the last 6 hours, did get significant volume. This green vector insinuates that, well, it's not insinuating, it actually is 200% of the previous 10 candles combined. So the previous 10 6-hour candles combined contained more volume in this single 6-hour candle than all of that. So that was during the London close yesterday. So the London session was processing a lot of orders. Are they accumulating, distributing? What's going on in those candles? It's still not significant in this regard, but interesting that it basically does it contained more than the entire weekend. Okay, the subtle support of the 6-hour has reached a close in terms of getting overbought while going sideways. We talked about this idea: when you go sideways and get overbought, this expresses fatigue. So overall, fatigue-like symptoms occurring here for a potential downside projection. The Williams cross-up event of the baseline of the rising sun here is not taking off in a manner with an angle, creating a mountainscape here. So this is still to be seen. We have 36 minutes till the candle close. The baseline wants to cross up here, but getting rejected in this current candle. We'll see how this 12 and the 6-hour candle close. Can it manage to close up above this region and get a confirmed cross up event, negating this previous cross down, which brought with it some downside? Let's go to the 4-hour. 4-hour previously already got the cross up, and that's why we're talking about seeing this continue to the upside here. We did get a little bit of a bounce from yesterday's live, but it was short-lived and gave back everything, but essentially sideways in nature. The 4-hour time frame is starting to reset here in a manner, so we're resetting the stochastic. So the subtle support of the 6-hour is getting exhausted while this 4-hour recharges and starts to come down here on the KD of the stochastic RSI. So basically, if you go sideways and then this resets, that is winding up potentially for something. In this last little bit though, you can see a lot of momentum occur in this last little bit of reset. So that does not mean that it's oversold just yet. We have to go to the lower time frames to check that out. Also, if we look at the cloud here on the 4-hour, already expressing downside, so there is not a thinning showing any type of bullishness just yet. If we look at the hourly time frame, hourly time frame is ambiguously looking to possibly see a play out of here for Tuesday. Asia generally does not bring upside potential unless it is intending to pass off to London to dump it. So if you do see some sort of upside thing, expect them to give it back to London, which goes sideways, and then maybe New York goes up to go down, making some cat ears or something like that. The cloud that we were previously holding yesterday after yesterday's live failed, and we bearishly retested. So this is a bearish sign where we come down beneath the cloud and we bearishly retest and potentially come lower. This is the opposite of support. This is showing a sign of resistance as you start to basically resist that cloud and potentially go lower. These rounded tops also are areas of resistance where they induce liquidity and protect the short positions as they induce a lot of longs so they can stab at the longs. So the stab has been had in terms of this. If you were watching Momentum Master back here 6 hours ago, you would have seen this thinning of the cloud and potentially taken a quick scalp short. The cool thing is these diamonds and these X's and everything do come to your phone, so hopefully you're utilizing the dynamic alert system so you can be notified each time these get overbought and oversold on significant time frames and make the decision accordingly. All right, so looking at the 15-minute, let's go ahead and take a look at that. 15 minutes starting to get a cross up event here, already confirmed. Still has to deal with a lot of resistance here. Price action is not so pretty here in terms of upside potential. You'd have to reclaim some clouds, and then I'd be looking for some long above the cloud. So this is not where you'd want to necessarily think about longing unless you're super risk ridden. So we're going to go back and show you a range which is similar, exactly the same range actually, where you start to make that narrative shift. So we're going to go back here to where things were bearish. So you have this bearish retest of the cloud, bearish retest of the cloud, drop, then we come back, and if we go into the hourly time frame, we can see how it reclaimed on an hourly time frame here in the past. This is June 16th price action. So we came back, the cloud was pretty bearish, we came back above the cloud, and then we retested here, and then we were gone. So you would want to see this shift of the cloud here and the retest off of the cloud, and then that would be your ideal entry with very little risk involved. I mean, trading is a risky game, but higher reward to your risk, let's say. Yeah? The cat pooped? Uh-oh, I gotta clean it up. So that is an example of where you would think of entry off of the cloud potential. And then this also coincides nicely with, most likely it's a 618 bounce off of that impulse. So the math and the liquidity and the momentum lined up there for some upside play. So as of this moment, you'd have to make it above that region. So you'd have to make a significant shift similar to what we were saying yesterday. Then you come back and you take it from there. So if we look at the 4 hour, the 4 hour cloud is now a resistance level. So coming up to this, possibly stabbing it and getting a rejection. Where does it go from there? I'm not going to speculate beyond that point, but getting a potential hit up into that region off of a 4 hour play leading into London or New York, perhaps. That would be an interesting thing to note in the next 30 minutes, we do have the daily candle close. The super trend of the bearish nature has been holding thus far since Friday of last week. If we look at 15-minute one more time, so far that baseline cross up is going to hold to some degree for at least until the fatigue of the 15 kicks in. How much power does the 15 have behind it? Let's go ahead and see what type of questions you have in there. Nothing yet. Alright, so let's go ahead and look at the total market cap, see how that's holding up. Basically the same as Bitcoin in terms of coming beneath this bearish trend-based fib level. The beauty of Momentum Master is you don't really need to look across multiple time frames of information because it's all on one chart. So if I go to the hourly here, I can see that 5 time frames were previously oversold. Now it's down to 3 medium time frames oversold, most likely the 6 and the 12 similar. Actually, the 12 on Bitcoin was getting overbought, was it? No, oversold. So it was the 6 hour that was overbought. So it's the 4 and the 12 that are oversold alongside the 1 and the 15. So could be seeing some sort of stab up into the vector here for that head and shoulders pattern to be real. This is not necessarily the shoulder in my book, but the previous thing with Bitcoin is the same. They had the bearish retest of the cloud, came down here, now starting to ground out on that 15-minute play. So how does the 15-minute play out with the hourly here is the question. The hourly has reset and the 4 hour is looking to give a little bit more KD action back. You had the red vectors on the last 12 hours here on the 4 hour hold this range, so the sell-off is a type of failure here as of this moment. Holding of the 4 hour cross-up event. So we'll see how the 4 hour gives us a curveball with the hourly today. Perhaps the 4 hour and the hourly are the ones to take it up to that pool on the upside. Do I see this as a sustainable move? Not necessarily, but you got to be there at any point to see, because you may miss the boat. I've missed the boat sometimes. Overall, though, you have the liquidity to the downside on the 3 and 6 month mainly gives it the most prominence here with the large quantity at 24.3. Let's do a projection. Let's do some bearish projections off of this. So this has basically played out, so we're going to delete this one and we're going to do a new one. What are we going to do? Well, we're going to take this trend-based fib one from this impulse to this retrace and see where we can go. So this makes sense that we could go into this 23.5 region that has that level down the entire journey of this $100 billion pools. So coming down to that 23.5, but meeting with resistance off of these regions. So you're bearish until you can get above 27K, basically, based on this math of the impulse retrace idea. And so that's basically it, my story, and I'm sticking to it. The 15-minute looks like it's playing out here. Does the 15-minute cascade into the hourly and curve the 4-hour? That's what we're looking at this time. Do I want to see anything? No, I don't care either way. I'm coachable to the charts, and I only see what is on the charts and nothing more. And this is saying that it's holding the 4-hour cloud, 4-hour baseline. Cloud does not give me that nice alignment. It's more ambiguous, but you are seeing this bullish sign of the baseline still holding alongside some previous vector candle that held into support. So does this go up to the cloud? We're gonna see it, what it does today. Does it go and reclaim the cloud and go up to the second pool, or fade off of it? We're gonna just say that it's gonna go within the hourly time frame up to this region for a 2.58% play to the upside. Let's see if it makes it up to that pool on the hourly time frame. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it, folks. So thank you for coming on into the live and sharing your essence with me in this eternal moment of which we all share an inextricable and inexorable part. Thank you for doing your part, for coming on in. We'll do the same, and we'll catch you at New York tonight for the NQ live trading session. Hopefully it'll bring some interesting volatility and we can catch it in a nice manner. What's up, Smurf? I'll see you at New York. Peace.